All right, we are here for the last two songs of the Cyclops saga. Specifically, Remember Them and My Goodbye. Now, I only have 3 animatics here. I have 1 animatic for Remember Them, which is by Wolfie the Witch, and I have 2 for My Goodbye. Specifically, I have Wolfie's again, and I have Murchie's. And I know for a fact, I have been warned, that watching Murchie's will send me into a tailspin and probably leave me wanting to chuck things. JK, no they won't. I love my technology too much to ever actually chuck it. But that it is necessary for me to watch in order to properly understand the Danny versus Mortius beef, which I do understand comes down to Murchie's My Goodbye animatic, which makes me both excited and terrified. This is gonna be great. I'm not scared at all. I'm terrified. I'm genuinely terrified. Let go. All right, we will start off with Wolfie's. Wolfie's Remember Them. Collapsed Cyclops. Wolfie had the ogre design, if I recall correctly, with like the tusks.
Captain! Captain!
We must move quickly.
There you go, snap back, Otis.
We don't have much time. He didn't notice I mixed Lotus in his wine. Mark my words now, this is not the end.
I have to say, I love that we're highlighting the height difference between Odysseus and Eurylochus. It just makes me pleased. Odysseus, short king. We love our short king.
But Captain, what do we do with our fallen friends?
Ooh.
Remember them when the fire begins to fade. For the fallen and afraid, we are not to let them die in vain. Remember them.
I wonder when Wolfie was gonna pull up to the eyes.
The flames of those who've gone, and our comrades will not die in vain. I need all our hands on this club. This is how we're getting out of here. Use your swords to sharpen the stub and turn it to a giant spear.
I like the carving motion. Seeing the wood curl.
If we kill him,
That's
we'll be
nice.
stuck inside.
Captain, where do we attack him?
We gotta stab him in the eye.
Yes, sir! Remember them when the fire
Zooming in
begins
on
to
Odysseus'
fade.
eye. Very
For the
nice.
fallen and afraid, we are not to let them die in vain. Remember them.
Is he looking at
We're the
dead
ones who
polities?
carry on. The flames
Ooh,
of
yeah,
those
that's-
who've gone, and our
Yeah, that's a little awkward. I was like, he's looking at something that looks sad. It had to be a dead Polites. Yeah. Yeah. As we know, this death did not affect me the way it apparently did lots of other people. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that I think actually the death of Polites ultimately kind of hurts the narrative. Because I think we get distracted by the death of Polites and think that, like, that's the thing that pushes Odysseus into his sort of, like, spiral that he goes through for most of Epic, when I'm like, it's Astyanax, though. Like, we started in Troy for a reason. But yeah, I see we're making use of this hair ribbon, which again, so many different people, or so many different animators and artists I saw drew Polites with this, like, seemingly reasonably canonical hair ribbon that's, or head ribbon, if you will. That's sort of inexplicable to me, but at least Wolfie's making use of it here. It seems, Odysseus is picking it up. So you know what? I will give points for if you're gonna put some random costume detail on somebody that, to me kind of makes no sense, make use of it somehow. I like that we have Odysseus, like, closing the eyes of the corpse of Shrine and picking up the hair ribbon. Now, again, this does pose the issue, if you think about it in terms of the Greek culture, funeral and burial rites, very important. The reason Homer can bypass all of that in the Odyssey is because these characters get eaten. There's nothing to bury. There's nothing there. They are consumed whole by the Cyclops. He just goes, nom 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 nom, what a delightful man snack. That sounded so wrong, and I didn't mean it to. Not in,
I'm gonna move on.
But obviously, in Epic, while it's never exactly clear what happens to the bodies other than they die, we hear them get hit by the clubs, we don't know, like, if they are truly squished into just goop. Like, is there just truly nothing left and nothing to bury? In this case, Wolfie's made the choice that it's a body, and, we have Odysseus interacting with it. That would cause problems, because again, funeral rites, very important. Not as important in Epic, like we totally cut out the character of Elpenor, who part of the whole thing with his story and his death on Circe's Island is the fact that they have to take their time back at Circe's Island to properly bury him and to, like, go through the rites for him. So they stay a little longer in their, like, second foray, if you will, to Circe's Island. Longer than they probably would have meant to, because they have to bury Elpenor and do it properly. And again, at the Cyclops, they can't do that because there are no bodies. They are consumed. You know, after getting their heads cracked, like eggs. Again, look, Homer kind of spares you not that many details when describing the ways in which people die. If you really want to see Homer just go full force in terrible ways to die violently, just read the Iliad.
Comrades will not die.
I was putting it on his wrist, I guess. Interesting. Oof. Yeah, that looked painful. The other Cyclops.
There are more
Just
of
an
them?
eye. Oh, 3 of them.
Hide.
So it's a really interesting choice that, you know, I'm assuming this is the outside of the cave, because obviously the idea is that his body is blocking it. They clearly, in the case of Wolfie's animatic, don't want to try and climb up and over and around him for fear of waking him. You know, the mind's powerful, but you don't know how long it's really going to keep him out. Maybe he's a light sleeper, we don't really know. But the outside of the cave is dark. It's pitch black. Now, it makes for a really great creative choice. Now, you just have these white eyes opening out of nowhere. Now, it also obviously would understandably make Wolfie's job so much easier, because Wolfie then does not have to draw all these different Cyclops, and you can have the eyes at all sorts of proximities to each other. It creates a really cool image, and I'm like, clever, clever use of art.
Captain, we should run.
Wait.
Oh, so many eyes.
Captain, please.
Wait.
Nobody. If nobody hurts you, be silent.
Oh, and the way they vanish, they turn away. But he's
Let's
still
grab the sheep and
sitting
away
there.
we
Interesting.
go.
Have you forgotten the lessons I taught you?
Yes, he has. So interesting. So I guess in this case, we leave Polyphemus in the cave, and they just take the sheep and kind of dash past him. It's interesting because you did gouge out his eye, but Polyphemus can still hear. There's only so quiet you can be when you're also kidnapping sheep. Like, they will make noise. Interesting. Now, obviously, in the Odyssey, the way that Odysseus bypasses the whole issue of how the fuck do we get out of this cave is the whole thing of, yes, they blind the Cyclops so that he then does not have his sense of sight. And he, of course, is the only one who can push aside the stone that was in front of the cave, the way that Polyphemus would constantly seal them inside the cave. It was this massive stone that they could not move. Because again, Cyclops. Huge. Humongous. So what they then would do is, because it's a massive flock, and they knew that Polyphemus would then be trying to be like, you can't escape, I will, you know, grab you, and he was still kind of blocking the entrance, they like, some of the art you will see, they either like cling to the bottom of the sheep, which I'm like, damn, those must be some big sheep. Or you're tiny dudes. Or they were like kind of crawling on all fours and would put a sheep on their back so that Polyphemus would only touch the tops of the sheep, so he just feels his flock, right? He doesn't realize the men are escaping that way. And look, I want to say, this sounds like I'm nitpicking. These are just things that I notice because I'm like, okay, well, if you're then visualizing it this way, I have a logistical question, which again is not a knock to the animator. I just constantly have logistical questions. Because, you know, let's give Homer credit where he's due, as much as, you know, it's the past, and so things did work differently. He is writing Odysseus as a guy who is at times extremely dumb, but also extremely clever when it comes to certain plans and being sneaky, and so he tends to think most things through. Again, he is about to do the dumbest fucking thing he could possibly do, which is ducks himself to the guy he just blinded. But in the case of the escape plan, he had that pretty well thought through, including the fact he could think ahead to what will the Cyclops likely do in order to ensure we do not get out. Let me, you know, I've got contingency plans for that.
He's still a
Also, I
threat
love the height
until
difference
he's
of
dead.
Athena.
Finish it.
No.
No.
What good would killing do when mercy is a skill more
Is he gonna
of this world
think of
could
this
learn
thing
to
on his
use?
wrist?
My friend is dead, our foe is blind. The blood we shed, it never dries. Is this what it means to be a warrior of the mind?
Don't!
Hey, Cyclops! When we met,
I love that she's like in his head, but almost like not physically there, which Wolfie makes really clear in the background.
Remember them. The next time that you dare, choose not to spare. Remember them. Remember us. Remember me.
The shot pointing the sword.
I'm the reigning king of
So dumb. Is he sheathing his sword?
I am neither man nor mythical. I am your darkest moment. I am the infamous Odysseus!
Ah, so dumb. So dumb. So we did leave him in the cave, I guess. Ooh, that grin. Ah, now that I think about it, people did mention that there was an animatic that had Polyphemus like turn to camera and grin, like, oh boy, you done fucked up. My father will be hearing about this, full Malfoy. But it's like, oh boy, you done fucked up. That is great. That sort of menacing grin to camera, like, thank you for signing your own death warrant. And just like that look of the gaping hole where the eye was, a little bit of blood, it's like, ooh, that is very visceral in image. I will say I was kind of hoping that like when Odysseus is having that moment of like, my friend is dead, my foe is blind, you know, like all of that, I thought maybe he would reference this, you know, ribbon that he's at least tied around his wrist. But not, you know, that's Wolfie's choice. I was just curious if Wolfie was going to do more with that, you know, having the point of him taking it, putting it around his wrist, and of course he likely would have had wrist greaves or gauntlets. Are they greaves or gauntlets? I don't know, armor pieces. But again, there are definitely some cool things that went on in there. Again, I really like the height difference of Athena, even compared to that height difference between Eurylochus and Odysseus. Athena is just tall. She's massive, and I love that because she's a god. So yeah, some cool stuff there. Very, very nice. I do like Wolfie's art style. I will continue to say that. Their look for Odysseus, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it is a good one. So next we have, do we have Wolfie's My Goodbye first? No, I'm going straight into Murchie's My Goodbye. Oh god, okay, everybody, you know, say prayers, sign wills and testaments. Oh boy, let's go. Oh, nice spin intro. Ooh, what an image. Also height difference. Just size difference in general.
That's not a teaching of mine. You've grown soft.
Okay, interesting. Because now I see here, I mean, besides one, I love all the blood on Odysseus' face. Someone will have to tell me if Murchie did a animatic for Remember Them, because I would probably watch that. But we have, once again, Odysseus has this headband that we had given to Polites, which again, I don't know why we have the head ribbon, headband, whatever for Polites. It's apparently canonical to the character at this point, but now he has taken it and he's wearing it. So where Wolfie the Witch had him wrap it around his arm, we have Murchie choosing to have him wear it. Interesting. And again, what I like is this is something that Murchie did before with Just a Man. Might have also done it in Warrior of the Mind, where when we're in Odysseus' head, the line work is like reversed. Like normally the line work in a lot of these animatics is that's going to be black, but in this case, Murchie tends to do white line work. And for me, that's always like a signal, oh, we're in Odysseus' head. I think that's just a nice detail. And again, this very minimalist background. Just, you know, the red gradient that's in the back.
Can attest.
Hey,
Put your emotions aside. You're a warrior.
Oh my god! Did Athena take the image of Polites and the other warriors? Oh, damn. That's a cool choice. I'm now looking at Polites' torso, and there's almost like a cracked, gaping hole in the middle. Is that supposed to be where Polyphemus nailed him? Or am I tripping? Because that's what I'm thinking. Damn, that's dark. That's dark. That's very dark.
I don't know where I went wrong, but I want you.
Never changed
and
back.
you failed the test.
The helm is
Now
gone.
I'm gone. This way.
Ooh.
You'll know what your place is. This way. You can't cross
Chucked an
the
apple at
line.
him.
This way. When all
Why chuck the apple at him? It's just an interesting image, and I'm wondering, is this going back to Open Arms where he hadn't, well, like we saw him get the apple from like the Lotus Eaters, or I believe in Open Arms, at the end of Open Arms going into Warrior of the Mind. Is this that same apple? Am I going nuts? Am I supposed to be getting in a flash to, like, you know, the golden apple that ultimately kind of helped kickstart this whole thing of the Trojan War? I am dead curious. But also, oh my god, that's a terrifying expression on Athena. Ooh, it's a giant owl attacking him. Owls can do serious damage, you know. Those talons are sharp.
That's just like you. Why should I be surprised?
No, Murchie, you didn't. You didn't. Oh no! Oh, so that's why they said I would have an aneurysm. Ah! Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Again, I think Murchie is wildly creative. Like, Murchie has made some choices, whether it be in designs, well, obviously in designs. Like, I just, like, that, again, that Polyphemus is freaking nightmare fuel for me. That's absolutely terrifying to me. So, obviously, Murchie is a highly talented artist and makes some very, like, interesting, sort of, for me, seemingly totally out-of-the-box designs. Also, has a great understanding often of shot choice and film language in terms of, like, what shots mean. And I deeply appreciate the creativity, but oh no, Murchie. I don't know if I'm gonna like my goodbye. I know this is all taking place in his head, but oh no, like, I already don't like this song, and now we're gonna make it worse. Oh no!
Selfish and prideful and vain, unlike you. Every time someone dies,
And in that moment, Odysseus
I'm left to deal with
was
the
incinerated.
What's the title that he got his land? If I'll never sleep at night, I'll remind you I saw you as a friend. But now we're done this way. You're out of my head now. This way.
Oh, crack.
You won't plague my
Okay,
life.
see, that's kind of a neat image. The crack. First we see it spread, now we see him pushing against the wall of essentially, like, the inside of his head. Which, I mean, if you think interesting image, considering the birth of Athena, she was born out of Zeus's head. Like, Hephaestus had to come and crack open his father's skull so she could pop out of it. So that's kind of, like, I can see parallel imagery from that. Again, I don't know if that's totally intended by Murchie, but, like, I can see the parallel imagery.
When all is done, you're out of sight and out of mind. This way, you get what you wanted. This way, you can
Taking off those wrist greaves.
This way, you close the door and have your
would-
damn goodbye.
You're not looking for a mentor. I'm not looking for a friend. I mistook you for a general.
Damn.
What a waste of
I will say, I do wish that instead of him taking them off, like, for me, if I were to have that imagery of something like this, I would rather her stripping them of him. Especially when you get to the end bit, where she's just like, this day you sever your own head, you do all this. Like, that's where if, like, we say that we're using, like, armor pieces as representative of his connection to Athena, I would be having her strip those from him, like, nasty. Like, in my brain just went to the scene in Disney's Cinderella where the stepsisters, like, destroy the original dress, and I'd be like, it'd be something like that.
effort spent.
At least I know what I'm fighting for while you're fighting to be known.
He'd never win in a fight, not even in his head.
So much wiser. Why's your life spent all alone? You're alone.
Wow, do I hate that a lot. Sorry, Murchie. Again, you're a highly talented artist. Ooh, this does not sit well with me.
You might understand one day, but not today, for after all, you're
Although that is a great shot of Odysseus. Interesting, we have then the look of her wings behind him, framing his head. But really, I just like the expression on him. Tired, covered in blood. Like, again, there's some really beautiful shots in here. I just do not like the idea of the fight. And we all know I already twitch at the song's content.
this day, you sever your own head. This day, you
Okay,
got the
again, what is the Lotus Eater doing here? Especially if we then also consider, isn't this supposed to be taking place in Odysseus' head? Why is the Lotus Eater here? I have questions, Murchie. That one I have a genuine question.
This day, you lost it all. Consider this as my goodbye.
the ghosts of what we saw in Warrior the Mind.
This is my goodbye. Consider this is my goodbye. This is my goodbye.
Not sure what I'm supposed to be getting from her expression exactly there. The owl, and then it's gone. You look awfully satisfied with yourself, Odysseus. I wouldn't be. I'd be terrified. Interesting. So Danny really liked that animatic. Yeah, okay, I will say this. I can see why it would appeal to a lot of people. Like, again, one, Murchie's art is astonishingly good. I have, like, in terms of the quality of the art, zero gripes. It's like saying the music to My Goodbye is gorgeous. I'm griping with the content. Kind of in the same with this animatic. This is Murchie's vision, how Murchie wanted to interpret it. I don't love it, but that's not to say it's bad. Again, I can see why everybody thought this was going to send me into a heart attack. You're not wrong. No, I'm kidding. But it's interesting that this is the one that caused the feud between Danny and Mortius. Somebody will have to tell me, what animatic did Mortius... I'm pretty sure Mortius sent him a playlist and had a whole bunch of animatics he had him watching. So which one did Danny watch first? Again, I listened to his reactions because I didn't want to be spoiled on the animatics. So I actually don't remember which one he watched prior to then watching this one on his own and beginning the feud of all feuds. Interesting. Alright, well, now it's Wolfie the Witch's turn. Yep. And I do like, okay, so both Wolfie and Murchie do this, which is the idea of when we go into his head, we really just like, I'll call it blank out the background. Murchie had done this before with Just a Man, where when it's meant to be a very more introspective song, the background goes minimal. And it's not hyper detailed because we're just in his head. Wolfie is doing something similar here. You can tell also because of just the color of the background. It's normally kind of a very soft, light gray, and it goes much darker when we're here in his head, which is a nice clue. These are really great visual cues to help somebody watching to like, again, that's essentially also film language, art language, if you will, as well. Clue if you were in that's what's happening. And again, the super tall Athena, I really like.
You are reckless, sentimental at best. That's not a teaching of mine. You've grown soft, your dead friends can attest. Hey, put your emotions aside. You're a warrior, meant to lead the rest. I don't know where I went wrong, but
I know that gesture too well.
Now I'm gone. This way, you'll know what your place is. This way, you can't cross the line. This way, when all is over, you'll keep your...
That's a cool shot. The way Athena just manifested her spear. I do like that. I like that a lot. That makes me pleased. Because it does seem, in the case of the gods, their weapons aren't necessarily like stored somewhere. There does seem to potentially be an element that they can kind of just summon them, especially in the cases of gods like Athena or even Poseidon with his trident. Like, you could say even Zeus with the thunderbolt. I mean, he kind of like marshals the thunderclouds to him. So there is this ability of potentially like, where do these weapons necessarily exist? Kind of a liminal space, not really sure. It's sort of, it's never really described. I mean, because generally these weapons are just always with them, you know. Nobody else gets to use them. As I talked about at length in 600 Strike.
Now keep mine. This way, you won't disappoint me. This way, you won't waste my time. This way, I'll close the door, consider...
Sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot. I did just want to note, because I realized I did not talk about this back in the My Goodbye initial reaction, because again, I was just like agog and aghast at the content of the lyrics. There's a really cool drum beat in the back that's very like drill, like marching band, militaristic, if you will, snare, and I quite like it. Again, as I say, the music to this song is beautiful. I just get mad at the lyrics.
This is my goodbye.
That's just like you. Why should I be surprised?
selfish and prideful and vain. Unlike you, every time someone dies, I'm left to deal with the strain. What's the title? Daddy God is...
It's kind of interesting, I'm thinking, watching now. Wolfie doesn't do too many reaction shots here. I'm trying to remember back to their other videos. Were they big on, like, reaction shots where, you know, you would focus instead on the person receiving the song or the information as opposed to the person who's necessarily saying it. Now, having the person who's saying it allows you for great expressions, which Wolfie's doing a great job here, even gesture, with having Odysseus seeming like he's moving and trying to talk to her. But it would be interesting to see more of Athena's expression. But then again, Athena's expressions, I think in many cases, especially if this song, can be left to a lot of interpretation. Like, how much do you want to lean into anger? How much do you want to lean into disappointment, potential kind of ruefulness? Which again, as much as I disagree with a lot of the content of the song, it opens up a real playground for artists in terms of how they want to put what they get in terms of the tone, and what expressions they think these characters have.
If I'll never sleep at night, I'll remind you I saw you as a friend. But now we're done this way. You're out of my head now this way. You won't plague my life this way. When all is done, you're out of sight and out of mind. This way, you get what you wanted. This way, you can save your time. This way, you close the door and have your damn goodbye.
You're not looking for a mentor. I'm not looking for a friend. I mistook you for a dead
Her walking kind of around him.
a waste of effort spent.
At least I know what
Ooh,
I'm
his
fighting
expression.
for while you're fighting to be known. Since you claim you're so much wiser.
Huh, I just noticed. And this might be an effect of the fact that this is meant to be in his head. His little, Polities ribbon thing is not here. I was wondering if Wolfie would utilize it, considering, you know, made a point of him wrapping it around his arm in, Remember Them. Kind of curious it's not here. I would have thought, like, that would be a shot choice, if you will. Like, you know, he's, you know, gonna look down at it, or, you know, while he's delivering some of his lines. Interesting to not have it here. Wonder why.
Your life spent all alone. You're alone.
Oh, that's nice animation. The shoulders going up and down, heavy breathing. I would have loved for somebody to animate like he does the You're Alone. He can look angry, then just have like sort of the dawning horror of what he just said and like realizing what he's done. Like a lot of people could look at the, for a more modern musical, something like the Hamilton, the "Call me son one more time." And it's like, yeah, you're mad. And then it's like, oh, what did I just say? Ah, fuck. That's what I could imagine. I would wonder if and somebody can tell me, I wonder if anybody animated that or considered that. I mean, again, like I always say, I don't love the lyrical content of the song, but I'm always curious to see how people choose to interpret it or what they imagine in their heads going on. She looks more shocked than he does.
One day you'll hear what I'm saying. One day you might understand.
The eyes shut like,
but not today, for after all you're
Just go.
oh, look at like the almost like her divine choir. As we know, the gods have these sort of divine choirs. In this case, the image is then, I'm assuming we've got Penelope and Telemachus kind of on the left, but on the right we can definitely see Polites, and I'm assuming holding Astyanax. That's, ooh, damn, Wolfie, that's brutal.
You sever your own head this day. You had the lie this day. You lost it all. Consider this as my goodbye. Consider this as my goodbye.
Oh, and him reaching forward like, oh, whoops. Consequences of actions, my dude. Ooh, what great animation there. Oh, just her disappearing in front. I was wondering if we were going to shoot him back out of his head. Oh, there we go. Now we're out of his head. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Wow. Wow. Yeah, kind of like going through that first list of Epic the Musical. It's like, to me, so interesting to see how an artist interprets something. And in this case, like I was saying before, like why I didn't watch the animatics initially is I'm like, I'm getting an interpretation of an interpretation. I have a hard time focusing at that point because then I am distracted. So in this case, when I can really just look at the visuals, then I consider how they're interpreting Epic specifically, and those songs. I'm like, oh, that's quite choice. Again, fascinating choices from both these artists. Again, I can, as always, also see why Wolfie and Murchie are so popular among the Epic the Musical fandom. I mean, their art is beautiful. Like, let's not knock the art. Again, even though I was watching Murchie's My Goodbye and going, oh no, the art was still gorgeous. Like, again, they both shine in different ways. And with Murchie, I always just constantly kind of bring up detail. Like, frankly, the detail in each still image, all the way down to details in the costuming, to me is fascinating how much detail they put into all that line art, which is, I can't do that, so, you know, my props to them. Next, we have the Ocean Saga, which you all know what song I'm most excited to get to animatics-wise. You all know. We all know it's Ruthlessness. Let's be real, we all know it's Ruthlessness. But I am going to be curious to see Storm, because I had noted back with like Full Speed Ahead that water is notoriously difficult to animate, whether you're doing it in 3D or even in 2D. It's really a deceptively difficult thing to animate. So, and Storm is not only just water, but a whole lot of water and the weather and everything else that you need to balance in it. So that makes me super curious as to what we're gonna get. Because then after that, you get Luck Runs Out. We get Keep Your Friends Close, which I guess that does mean I'm curious to see people's designs for Aeolus and Aeolia, especially since it is a floating island in the sky. And then we get Ruthlessness, which you all know I am so excited to see people's Poseidon designs and how they choose to work that song. But yes, Ocean Saga is next. So